Hello everyone. Today I am going to say a story about Voice of Bamyan. In the peaceful valleys of Bamyan, where tall cliffs once held the grand statues of the Buddhas, lived a boy named Arsalan. He was 15 years old, full of curiosity and wonder. Every morning, he would climb the hills and look down at the quiet town, dreaming of becoming a storyteller like his grandfather. Arsalan's grandfather had once told stories in the village square, surrounded by children and elders. But after war and destruction touched their homeland, the laughter faded. The statues were gone, the town grew silent, and people feared to hope again. But Arsalan didn't want to accept silence. Every evening, he would sit by the fire and ask his grandfather to repeat the tales of brave heroes, wise kings, clever girls, and peaceful villages. Slowly, Arsalan began memorizing them. He wrote them in a small notebook he kept hidden under his pillow. One day, a teacher from Kabul University visited Bamyan for research. He stopped at Arsalan's house, and during tea, heard the boy repeating an old legend in perfect detail. Impressed, the teacher asked, "Where did you learn all of this?" Arsalan smiled shyly and pointed to his grandfather. "He taught me, but I wrote down more. I want to share them with the world." The teacher invited Arsalan to come to Kabul for a cultural event. With his parents' blessing, Arsalan packed his notebook and journeyed to the city. It was his first time away from home. In Kabul, Arsalan stood on a wooden stage, nervous but determined. He opened his notebook and began to speak. Once upon a time in the land of snow-capped mountains. As he spoke, the hall grew silent, captivated by his voice. When he finished, the crowd erupted in applause. That night, Arsalan's story was broadcast on the radio. People from across Afghanistan heard the voice of a boy from Bamyan telling stories that reminded them of who they were: resilient, brave, and full of hope. Months later, Arsalan published a small book titled Tales of My Homeland. It was translated into 3 languages and used in village schools. Children who had never heard their own stories now read them with joy. Years passed. Arsalan grew up, studied literature, and became a teacher. He returned to Bamyan, where he opened a center for Afghan storytelling, training children from all provinces to collect, write, and share stories from their regions. Together, they rebuilt what war had once stolen: the voice of people, moral. Even when a land is scarred by war and silence, the spirit of its people lives on through their stories, traditions, and dreams. A single voice, no matter how small or young, can light the path for others and restore hope where fear once lived. Just as Arsalan's words revived the soul of Bamyan, we are reminded that culture is not destroyed by conflict, it is kept alive by those who dare to speak, write, and remember.